Storm, earth, and fire, heed my call. Sit down and mire the once mighty thrall. Break the world asunder with my shocks and my quakes, and bring down the thunder and eat all the cupcakes. Some specs have humble beginnings, not enhancement. Not this badass, ball-busting, storm-strike-thrusting beast. Embrace the power of the winds and enhance your weapons with wind fury, and when you strike the target once, twice, 3 times, they will know what is up. Sunder the earth beneath you and shake the foundations of the world with crashing lightning. Why bring a gun to a knife fight when you can bring the freaking earth and molten lava? Are you serious, Garrosh? After you boasted, roasted, toasted, and ghosted the horde, you gonna complain that Thrall wasn't a true warrior? The fuck? He was a shaman all along. He was enhanced by the power of the elements. And so will you be once you decide to play this high-octane, fast-paced melee DPS. You might say you have too much RNG in the rotation, but the nature itself together with the elements are unpredictable, and that is the life of a shaman. Coat your weapons with the power of the wind and fire and smash your opponent's skull, because deep down inside you always wanted to be like Thor, god of lightning. You may not be a god, but you can take gods down, lava lashing and fire novaing their faces off. And when your hands get too hot, strike with the power of ice. Cleave your enemies down, enact a hailstorm every time your frost shock gets bumped. Enhancement Shaman is a fast-paced, high-octane melee DPS. You'll have a lot of abilities and synergies in your rotation, and most will have a cooldown. You will rely on procs and smart choices when it comes to opting for your spell of choice. You'll deal mostly nature and fire damage mixed with some physical and frost, and really, you'll blast your enemies with the power of the elements. Your main tools will help you build stacks of Maelstrom weapon which function as your main resource. Once you get enough stacks, you can spend them on Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning, empowering them and making them instant. They will hit harder than this winter's heating builds in Europe. They in turn will empower other spells and mechanics and will all come to full circle, transforming you into the literal Stormbringer. Use the primordial power to call forth the doom winds on your enemies, making them think they need to watch out for bolts of lightning and fire, when in turn, your weapons will slap them in the face so many times they will forget all about Shadowlands. And that's why you should play Enhancement Shaman, because the best way to forget about Shadowlands is to break it apart and lunge into Dragonflight. All this talk about the elements, but the true master of them will make mountains fall on armies, call forth the thunder and surge with lava, because when it comes to Elemental Shaman, no earthly obstacle will stand in its way. Play Elemental and see what it's like to start as a zappy boy, zip, zap, zip, and eventually become Green Jesus. Well, not really, but at least a literal Storm Keeper. Shock your enemies with the power of Earth, bury them beneath the quakes of Azeroth, and while they are sitting down, lava bursts their faces. Meatballs for everyone. Your power is fueled by the Firelands when you summon a Fire Elemental. This bad boy will turn your enemies to cinder, bring the heat to their doorsteps, and since you are a master of magics, summon a Storm Elemental instead to shoot out powerful wind gusts at your foes and empower your lightning spells to cast faster and faster and faster. And there you go, you are the Maelstrom. Elemental Shaman is a range caster DPS that specializes at combining different types of magical damage to literally crush the world around it. You will build Maelstrom with your Flame Shocks and Lightning Bolt, all to consume them on earth-splitting powerful abilities. And what better way for a master to enact their power upon the world if not with the best-sounding abilities in the game? Hear the rocks crumbling, the air splitting when you chain lightning at horde of enemies. Listen to the earth melting underneath your feet. Open the magma chamber and bring forth the searing flames from deep within the lands of the burning elements. Your power is so immense, your mastery over the elements so final that you can overload when you cast them and then cast them again and again. Collect the powers of the meatballs and build a fire-based playstyle with powerful lava bursts and ascend to the ultimate level and even further beyond. Or instead, choose the path of the lightning rod and be a conduit for the avatar of true elemental power, the power of thunder and lightning. With all of this fire and lightning, burning and searing, Elemental is your best choice because it's already well done. Often overlooked, the most overwhelming element in nature that other shamans fail to master is the element of water. Water is the bringer of life. It surges from the depths of the earth and rains from the sky. It's both beneath you and above you. Its power everywhere to support your allies. Rip the tides of the ocean currents and keep these dumbasses alive. Look at their sorry butts, calling volcanoes, charging and rampaging or playing with demonic magic. Without your constant chain healing, they would be dead and likely blaming you. But that's okay. Their deal damage brains can only comprehend so much of what's going on around them, and your job is to link their spirits and make sure they are alive to blast away like children on Christmas morning. No? Just my kids? I'm kidding, of course. I can never have kids the way my downpour is aimed. But I don't have to, because babysitting DPSers and tanks is a full-time job that only the ever-rising tide can quell and balance it down. Restoration Shaman is a healer that specializes on using nature magic and water elements to keep its allies alive. Using the tide of the waves, you empower your healing abilities bit by bit until they burst and come crashing down in a healing fashion. Learn what it means to harness the power of the high tides and undercurrents and bring forth waves of healing, making impossible situations happen and your party thinking they are very good at surviving. Your ability to heal in critical situations is unmatched by any other healer in the game. With the power of deeply rooted elements, you can bring forth true earthen harmony. Although Restoration Shaman might be the simplest healer in the game for some, the depth to its potential goes deep, and mastering tools like the Cloudburst Totem and Primordial Waves can literally turn the tides of battle, pun intended. Similarly to your shaman brothers and sisters, the magnificence of the elements is echoed around you. The sounds of waves crashing, rain falling, tides rising will keep you calm in the most dire of situations. And when the waters have settled down, you can summon the power of the fire and lightning and strike your enemies down, because if they thought you are harmless and wet, they thought wrong. Unless you are. Restoration Shaman, the unseen current that sweeps away the danger, never to be praised because harder DPS. And that's why you should rock the Shaman in Dragonflight. Use your enhanced weapons to pummel your enemies into submission as a conduit of wind, lightning, earth and fire, or crush down mountains and the earth beneath your foes, bearing down in the deepest, hottest realms of the Firelands. And if the fools cannot stay out of the fire, DPS game, bro! Keep them alive, it's worth it, they will kill stuff for you, and easy loot is best loot. Shaman, because the world is better when it's sundered. Call forth the thunder. Your power is so immense, your mastery of the air. Your power is so immense.
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classic or retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play WoW.